What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I'm a minute late. Just getting things together here. It is February 8th. It is Thursday. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's 6:30 Club, where we go over the action, look for ways to make money every single day in a very disciplined way, where we keep our process strong. We also figure out how to put ourselves in a position to win long term with monthly flows, with different types of situations for the future, whether it's a 529 plan, etc. And just trying to move and groove through earnings season. There's been lots of action for earnings seasons, lots of way to put on different sets of options in order to participate in a way where we could you can make good money, and if you're wrong, risk is defined. Anyway, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. I see Dunks coming in. What up? What up? Good morning. On the edge from Iowa. There you go. We got Vancouver in the house. Oh, these are my crew. Actually, someone sent me this picture the other day. These are the boys, from lacrosse that I coached from 2nd grade to 8th grade, and now they're in high school. But anyway, what up? How you doing? What up, Austin? All right, so let's get to it real quickly. At this point, I'm sure you had the media, you saw the news that we almost went to S&P 5,000, and I'll tell you, that's a big deal. It's a big deal because I can tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, since like 1998. And I hear many more people that say, oh, be careful with the market, the risks of being in the market. Well, there's a lot more risk of not being in the market. There's a lot more risk of not maxing out a 401k, not having a 529 plan for your kid, not having an IRA, because that's what helps put you in a position for the long term, and also could help pay for your college, so you don't have to worry about people forgiving your debt. Anyway, I MC bar mitzvahs at SUNY Albany as president of my fraternity to get through school. No student debt here. But anyway, everyone does their own little thing. So let's get to where we are today. I'm going to present this. Let's see if I can do it the right way. I am learning. Share screen. Let's see, entire screen. Boom. And let's see if you guys can see it. Hey, what do we got there? Can you guys see? What is this? Chicago in the house. I love it. Can you guys see what that is? That is the S&P cash. $49.99. Look at that. Wow, what up, Azar? Anyway, so here's the S&P cash. Hopefully you guys could see it. We talked about two inside days, and took out 49.75 at 49.99. Okay, I know the AD lines aren't great. There has been so much participation, but you can't be shorting the S&P and the Qs because the small caps aren't doing great, or most tech names are not participating, and there's some names doing the heavy lifting. As traders, you can focus on those. You don't have to focus on the ones not working. So anyway, we talked about the SPYs, right? We said, can we get above and stay above 496.05? That was as an active trader, that was the thought process. And what did we do? We had two inside days, and then we took out 496 to 498.53. As of right now, let's see if you can see the SPYs. Hey, look at that. SPYs right now are down 70 cents. Okay, not the end of the world after being up 4 yesterday, right? So this is what we call level 2. So now you'll see, does 496 hold to digest above it to maybe continue above 498? Look at the Qs. Alexa off. You just had an inside range, right? It just went sideways for a bunch of days, and then yesterday, if you bought when the Qs cleared 429.85, which is right here, you had a nice move. Went to 432, and now here we are. The Qs are probably down a little bit, down 38 cents. So sometimes it's good to have a little bit of a down open. You could see where the flows go, and things go from red to green, and you could trade it, because a lot of times you get big gap ups, you're trimming into it, you're making a little bit of money, and then if they continue, you don't participate, where you have less. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. So a few things have happened during earnings season. You get a big pro earnings gap. Every few weeks is a different narrative. The narrative is, if you played these earnings with options and made great money, congratulations. You also need a way to play them after that's defined. So with that being said, there are people that are trying to play meta, right? Meta so far so good. Meta's had a sick move this year. A lot of us made really good money with Meta. We were talking about being long versus 453. So if you were, by the penny you got there, they didn't get you out. And then all of a sudden yesterday had a nice move. And the question is, how long is it going to take to then take out this 485? This is a leader. Take your trades at this point this morning. Let's see, Meta is down $2. So when I talk about something like what's a red to green trade, Red Dog? Well, meaning, if you're long it and you went out and it's down $2, what sometimes happens is you could buy a little bit more. It shows you a little relative strength, and then it goes from down to, and then it goes up to, and then you just make an extra $4 around what your existing position is. So that's Meta. Okay. Amazon, also a big pro earnings gap. Sometimes they take a few days. This one's taking its time. You have Jeff and you have Mackenzie, and they are friggin', they have the money offering, so they're selling every little day, but that's fine. You could be sitting verse 167, meaning you just have your shares and you're not over trading, or you could be massaging the position with more shares. So maybe you're long verse here, and now you add, which adding is a little tricky at times. If it were to get above this 170, now 88, just because a little concept here, in order to get to 172.50 where it got post earnings, it's got to get above and stay above 170.88. So that's why I use a tier system. Maybe a long, say you long 500 shares versus 167, then it gets above 170.88. You buy another 500 shares and it stays above it. Then it gets to like 171.5. Maybe you sell a little bit that you added, you're holding some. And then if it gets above 172.50, in order to get to 180, not saying it's going to, it's got to get above 172.50. So that's just the thought process, behind the tier system. So as long as this gap holds, it can continue. But then sometimes the gap doesn't hold and it gets choppy and it takes a long time. Like a lot of people like, oh, Red Dog, IBM's been annoying. It had a big pro earnings gap and didn't hold it, and it's just been trading around. And now here you are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days later, and IBM is still doing a whole lot of nothing. Just that sometimes that happens. So you got to take your time and not overtrade it. And if it does get in the gap, you have to sometimes say, okay, I'm going to get out, because who knows what happens here. Sometimes it's quick, like Palantir. Wow, oh my goodness, PLTR was my best option play into earnings this week. And then you also had a day 2 yesterday as a day trader or active participant to make money. What do I mean? Well, yesterday I said, hey, you could be long Palantir versus the pro earnings gap. I had a 17 by 19.5 call spread, made 200+%. And some people said, hey, I'm going to buy versus 1976. It opened down a little bit. So two ways. Remember red to green, which I just discussed before? You could have bought some and then added when it took out 22.18 and then sold some again. It went as high as 23.87. Sometimes these things just go that fast. Maybe because there's shorts and there's pent-up energy and the report's that good. And then, if you missed the earnings play, you then, could have got in verse there and then added and had a nice day trade. And now it's a 23.87. What's it doing today? Palantir, PLTR. It's down 2 cents. A whole lot of nothing. But anyway, that's a different type of trade. And that worked well in a lot of different ways. So anyway, hopefully, you made some good money there. But it happened fast. Sometimes you need, to let it wait a few days, whether it's something like an Amazon or a Meta, which it's doing. It's waiting a few days. Sometimes it happens fast. You never know. But if you're prepared and you know how to deal with it, the market will tell you when the next time is. As far as ARM, wow. I started putting ARM in here, my morning node right at 56. It's kind of crazy. I have I send out, a lot of people pay for my node, which has been great. It's a subscriber-based thing. And then I give it out to about 100 people in the industry just as a favor. I barter. I give my node out. They give me research, or I send it to the media. And that's why I'm on Fox Business. I'm a PR agent, or, I'm in other forms of business, whether it's XMSR or Benzinga, whatever it is. All I know is I sent this out, and every single institution was like, be careful with ARM, be careful, high valuation. And I'm like, well, the chart looks good. 56 was a great little spot to buy. And then here it gave you pretty much, a move above the post IPO high, and then came in and consolidated. And I remember listing it right around here. And some guys took an 80 by 100 call spread or whatever they did. And PS, ARM is at 95. So sometimes new issues are great because it's a new piece of business. The supply and demand are there and can go. And it's about supply and demand in the first year of a new issue's life. And then all of a sudden, some of the lockups happened. There's more shares out there, but in the beginning stages, they can be fast, furious, and a great move. And this one was awesome. So hopefully you made some money there. I am not long this. I don't have an earnings play on. Some guys traded after hours. I actually played NVIDIA through 700 and I sold mine 704, 705. So for today, I'm going to probably look at NVIDIA again because it's just been one of my, it trades really well. It was higher yesterday. Now it's down a little bit. Whereas NVIDIA is down 3. It's at 697. So with that being said, that was the prior pivot yesterday. Got through 697 and then went to 702. So chances are, for cash flow, maybe you could buy a little NVIDIA in the hole, goes green, pushes, and you make a few $1,000s, and that's your Thursday money. What up, Taliban Tio? Disney, nice move. Disney, I started to, chart it for everyone. Everyone's like, Redler, let's talk other than tech. I need some new off the beaten path type of plays. And right here into this descending channel here was the first time I put it on. And then I'm like, guys, here you have a gap that you could trade against. And then it closed well. And now Disney is up today. Would I be buying Disney today at 105 after a move that it's had? Probably not. I would trim into it. Okay. If you have an option play, congratulations. I'm not along this. A lot of guys did pretty well trading it. It was something different than NVIDIA and SMCI and ARM and AMD. There are other plays out there. Some people are like, why did I MDB was awesome, by the way. MDB, I started talking about this last week, I think in the 630 club, when I was even doing a tester with this kind of setup for Friday, and it was awesome, right? I bought the options right here. I bought a 440 by 460 call spread, I think. Let's see here. By the way, this is the alpha team. They get to see my positions. They get to see what's happening. MDB, I bought, what I do, a 440 by 465. So, I think I will be maxed out on that call spread. Anyway, by the way, there's all the guys hanging out saying good morning and putting themselves together. Usually there's about 500 people on there by the time the market opens. But yeah, that was a great play. For me, you got to know your style. It's a little loose and wide. I knew it would take up too much of my attention if I was in the stock. So instead, I bought a call spread that I actually managed a few times, and it worked out well. And again, when a name pops up into your go-to list in your arsenal, you play it the way you feel comfortable. I wasn't day trading it like I was with NVIDIA or AMD or even Amazon. But I said, hey, I'll buy some options. It looks good, and let the market make me some money. And it did. So MDB was great. Hopefully you did pretty well with that. It is whippy. Yeah, it's definitely hard. So some people like Red Dog, why are you, in on ONON? Well, ONON is on clouds. Those are the sneakers that I think have been very, very, very popular. I know I have a few pair, Chase's a few pair. A lot of people love them. Doesn't trade great. So I went, earnings are March 19th. So you're talking about 5 weeks from now. So I went and bought some earnings, I went with the 30s, which were pretty cheap, just in case it does a pre-earnings run and the market stays strong. I want to have a decent price. Sometimes these do pre-earnings moves, and then we'll see where we are come earnings. I am in the stock. I will stay with it as long as it holds, or say this 27. This would be my out, because again, this is more of an earnings play, or it's a technical play. If it wants to act well technically, I'll stay with it. If not, I'll get out of it. There's a nice wedge here. Tried to go yesterday. Didn't have enough power. Maybe, today, tomorrow. If not, I'll just sit in options. But all in all, I do think that this company is doing great. And the Olympics coming up, and it was also a new type of new issue from about a year or two ago, or whatever that was. And I do think that it could do well. So we'll see. But I won't have stock into earnings. I'll have options. It's not a hyper focus. It's one of my positions, and we'll see how it goes. When do I expect the market to cool off? I don't know. All I know is that every time I go out a few weeks and I buy SPY puts or Q puts in order to have hedges on, I lose. I know there was a lot of talk this week from people that I think are good technicians and good strategists, about last Friday's AD lines were horrible when the SPYs made new moves, how the small caps aren't doing what they said, and how the equal eight's not working out. But PS, SPYs and the Qs made a new move yesterday above 2 inside days, and that's more of what I care about. I did sell my wife's Blood in the Street account, but her account is an account that was built from 2004 to 2012, and then she left the hospital system to go into private practice. So I had to leave it there, and then I managed just anytime the S&P is down 10% or more, I start tearing in, and that account's at an all-time high. I wouldn't do that if like a 401k or an IRA, I wouldn't time that. Those just put monthly flows in. Doesn't matter if we get a drawdown, this and that. If you're 50 or less, just keep it, stay the course. So as far as stock market, though, if you trade for a living, you got to be careful. All of a sudden, you get a big potent down day that doesn't, retrace half. If you remember with the SPYs, they tried. This was the Bears, a Bears chance right here. Okay, the Bears had their chance, and they might have it again right here. This day was the day the Bears said, "Hey, that was Fed day. Chances are maybe we cool off." We had this ascending channel here. It broke below the 8-day. I reduced positions. I put on some hedges. And then the next day, took back half. And the active bull said, "Not yet, guys." So until there's a day where you have a potent down move, it engulfs in a channel. And then the next day, you can't bounce back. Then the market will cool off. But until then, find the things that are working. Try not to fight it. Have a portfolio approach. Try and do what you do. But until the market actually has a down, it did it too here. It did it right here. This also seemed as if it was going to be over. Where the one big red candle engulfed 4 or 5, showed some power. But then what happened the next day? Took back half and then ate into the candle and meant nothing. So until we get one of those days that I don't know what's going to be the catalyst, where it has a big down, wide range, bearish candle, and then the next day you get downside follow through, or there's no bounce back for a few, it creates the H and then goes over. You got to try and stick with it. It's it's the market that we have in front of us. It is what it is. What else do I like? Oh, by the way, Rum has been awesome. Rumble. A lot of guys are going on Rumble. It's uncensored. I started buying it in here. I've been buying the dip pretty much for almost a month. Below 550, and it went above 8 yesterday. And I'm a little bit smaller, but that's been great as an active sequence outside of things that like outside the mag 6 or 7, however many you want to do. That's been great. I actually have to give a little props. The reason why I saw this was because of my little squabble I had with Portnoy, and I saw the chart, and it went well, acting really good. So as long as it acts well, I like it. Plus T3, I think, is going to start doing videos on Rumble. But anyway. MSOS was good too. Someone's asked me about that. That's a nice active sequence above the 8-day moving average. I've been just buying dips. I've been not playing momentum. There's no momentum there. It's just you buy a dip and trade around it, and it's been going. And it seems like it could continue to work higher towards 14, but just be careful. Don't get too big at the top. Market going to explode higher today. All right. Yesterday I did buy IBIT, which is the ETF for Bitcoin. Remember during the day yesterday, I showed this pocket pivot in Bitcoin, and last time I bought Bitcoin was when it reclaimed 39,000, made some money, and then you had a nice little pocket pivot here. So I bought some, so it was great. You look at Bitcoin, I posted it. Crypto does trade with technicals also. It really does, and moves a lot faster. So sometimes it's even cleaner. So Bitcoin itself, this was yesterday. It's like, all right, look at this. Bitcoin gave you a red dog reversal sell around the 47.9. This to 47.9, that was your high, and then it broke the 8-day, and then here was my first buyback using the ETF for BlackRock, and then got out of it. It's been going sideways, and then yesterday I'm like, if it gets above this 44, it looks pretty good. It's above the moving averages, and boom, nice little 3-4% trader. You could have probably went with Mara. You probably could have went with Mr. or Coin. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with Bitcoin itself. And that's how I chose to do it. Some guys did go with Mara. Mara yesterday did a little red dog reversal right here. Okay. And I guess you'll see now if it can clear this spot. It's been a great, these things, when they're in play, and they're great. You had a big move above 11, above 14, and then it got very loose and wide. And when you remember when Bitcoin made a new move high, Mara did not. It diverged with Coin, and that became a sell. So down here, it's worth a try. I wouldn't overly focus on it, but there's money there. There's always money there. Anyway, what's my thoughts on XBI? it's probably like the IWM where it's taking its time. A lot of people made good money with it from November into December, and then it peaked out, but it went a long way. I would say as long as XBI holds this 86 area, there's a chance for it to maybe clear this. It's just hasn't been where the action is. Same thing with the IWM. IWM hasn't been where the action is, but again, from 161 to 205, not the end of the world that it's consolidated for the first 6 weeks of this year. At some point, maybe flows go there. At some point, the 80 line gets better, and then all of a sudden, boom, we'll be at S&P 5400. But right now, the action's been in the AI semiconductors, some of the mega cap Mag 7 names, and a few one-offs. And until when that changes, it changes. If you've been stuck trading energy, you're not getting anywhere. The XLE has been in a 2-year range also. At some point, maybe money comes back there. Look at this. This is your 2-year range in the XLE. This is when it had its move, and then it's got to consolidate. At some point, maybe it takes out this DT line and goes. If you want to buy Oxy with Buffett, he's been buying the hell out of it, and it still goes nowhere. But there's a time and place for everything. So for now, we'll see what happens. Someone's asked me where the SPYs right now. The SPYs before were down 67 cents. So we'll see what kind of digestion happens today. What a move! This is your cup and handle pattern. This is your weekly pattern. In the SPYs. What a move, jeez. But look, above the 8-day moving average this entire time. When you're above the 8-day moving average, you're in a bull market. When you're below, it's a different story. But anyway, let me go back to the daily on it to see, will something change today? Probably not. Why would it change today? But anyway, as long as it holds, just say 496, which is right there. 496. Can't get too bearish, right? I was like, same thing I said here earlier in the week. I'm like, as long as we hold 489-ish, you can't get too bearish. Now, as long as you hold 496-ish or 494 to 496, you can't get too bearish. And you just got to keep, riding the trend, not get over your skis, and stay with it. As far as, it's 6:54, I got to get going. By the way, a lot of my friends are in Vegas having a great time. If you're tuning in to see what's going on, maybe you just got home. Hopefully you're having a good time. I'm sure you are. It looks like there's a lot of fun going on out there. My boys Noah and Jason run stuff out there. The Tau group. And it looks like we're going to have a great game on Sunday. I didn't put anything in yet. You guys know me. I'm not really a gambler. I definitely will do some things with Chase. Him and his friends. We're going to have a big Super Bowl party. So we'll have some fun. And I'm probably not going to be betting on which lipstick shade that Taylor Swift is wearing. But I might bet on Travis scoring a touchdown and McCaffrey. I might do that as a little parlay. That'll be fun to root for. Besides a few other things. NVIDIA. What about NVIDIA? I did NVIDIA before. NVIDIA was off a few bucks. It's down 496-ish for NVIDIA. I would think NVIDIA could probably go from red to green today. It was higher, and we'll see if AMD could actually go from red to green. And this has been probably one of the biggest trades for a lot of us. You get a big channel like this, just for the future, for the next time. If you miss this one, which I don't think anyone missed it, but everyone's just upset about how much they had here. There'll be others. There's always other ones. There's always cycles. There's always stocks of the month, the quarter, the year, and NVIDIA has been one of them with SMC high. Look at this move. Also a big channel. Look at this beautiful channel. Doesn't get much more storybook than this, where you have a great channel going sideways. It clears a huge level, gives you a move, consolidates, and then what does it do? Is it above the 8-day moving average this entire time? Yes. Right? So that is what you call a strong momentum trend. That's why I've written like 5 ebooks about it, because you do not short a stock. You can do it in a little cute short when it's extended for a day, but those are longs. That's where the real money is. Anyway, I got to jump. Hopefully everyone is feeling good, making some money, had a great January, started February on the right foot, and we'll see how long this active sequence lasts. I talk about active sequences because as an active disciplined trader that gets paid monthly and quarterly, it's all about the active sequence. Are we in a strong active sequence where you could buy dips and hold stocks and get paid, or are we in one of those time periods that is loose and wide, more corrective, below the 8-day, they're selling strength, and then you have to just be tactical, not in a lot of trades, and look for little red dog reversal buys or sells or H cell setups and picking spots. It's a different tape every which week. So we'll go day by day, week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter. It all depends on the situation that's in front of you. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and just keep keep your process strong. Here's my little iced coffee every day. Did my sauna, did my ice barrel. I'll do it again tomorrow. I'm 500, I think, in 65 days strong. Doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter the conditions, mental state. Do some tough things. You build some self-esteem. You make some, clear-cut decisions when you have to. The only way you're going to really react to your X's and O's is if you could think clearly and execute clearly. And if you can't do that, your X's and O's don't matter. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys a little bit later. I have about 40 charts to do.